All right, so we're here today to talk about Wimba Classroom, and I might throw in a couple maybe Wimba voice tools too, if you just want some basic material out there for students, especially with all the talk with H1N1, and kind of ways to help keep campus going and classes going in case we have a major outbreak here on campus. So I'll go ahead and go into one of my courses here, and these tools are free to use. You can use it on both a Mac PC, some PDA devices. So please use them. I'll show you where to install here. I just went into the tools of one of my courses in K-State Online. And over here on the right-hand side is installed components. And to enable Classroom, Wimba Classroom for your course, just check this box right here. And that'll go ahead and build it right into the course for you. That's basically all you have to do to get yourself access and your students access to the software.
You don't have it installed right now. How long does it take?
As soon as the page refreshes, it's pretty instant. Once you check that box, you get two new links. One is Wimba content, which nobody uses, so don't worry about that, and Wimba Classroom. For the students, let's go to the home page. They see a link right here, Wimba Classroom. What's nice about this as well is we also have the ability for you to add Wimba Classroom to the student groups. So if you have a particular project, and obviously if there's a pandemic and students can't come to campus, but your project still calls for collaboration, you can actually use student groups with Wimba Classroom for them still to collaborate remotely with one another. So I'm going to go ahead and click on into Wimba Classroom. The very first time, it will actually have you run through a wizard. Obviously, I've been in the room before. The nice thing about the wizard, it'll basically make sure your computer is set and ready to go. The key components, there's really only two things you have to worry about. I take that back, three. But they're pretty basic. One, internet connection. That's pretty understandable. It does work with dial-up, so students don't have to have a broadband connection. Two, pop-up blockers, because this will launch in a new window. And three, students need to have Java. That's basically what the wizard checks for, those three components. Other than that, you should be set to go. It's a pretty basic room. Some of you who, especially within this department, who have used different meeting suites, it's similar to like NetMeeting, WebEx, those different type of collaboration tools. The difference for Wimba compared to those is this is more education driven, where those are business driven. So a lot of the tools you'll find will be like you're actually sitting here in a classroom compared to those other software. Here we'll see our participants. My student assistant over in the office, evidently he got his computer up in time for the move, but he's in here. We have a basic chat function, and here's basically our presentation screen on this side. So I'll go ahead and hopefully he's awake. Maybe. Probably not. And he must be asleep. One of the neat things about this too is you can also send private messages to a user. This is really handy for those students who are, we all have those, they're shy in the class, they don't want to ask questions in front of everybody else. This will allow them to send you a private message with the question that only you and them see. So you don't have to worry about that. And you have the ability to turn off their chat, because by default, students can also private message other students. It's like passing a note back and forth in class. You can turn that off, though. That way they can only private message you. The other thing is the talking, and that's pretty much the meat and potatoes of this system. Hey, Archer, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Brian.
Oh, so he is awake. And this is basically pretty simple. It's click and hold like a walkie-talkie. If you do that, it basically activates your mic. I'm just using my built-in mic here. You can also hold the control key. Holding the control key will allow your mic to become active, so you don't have to click and hold with a mouse. Now the problem with this is I've had some instructors say, that's great, I'm going to get a cramp. You know, doing my presentation, it's not going to feel really good. So what we have in here under options is a lock talk. So now my mic is active. I don't have to press any buttons, and it will pick up everything I say. And Archer, go ahead and say something.
Hi, Brian.
The nice thing about this compared to the other software is you don't have to worry about passing a mic to somebody. You can actually have everybody in the room talk at the exact same time. That's positive and negative. You'll have to have some kind of moderation in the room. But the nice thing about this system is it's just like a classroom. People can actually talk over one another. So you don't have to worry about saying, okay, who do I need to pass the mic to now? It's just automatic for them. And the same thing works with them. They have these same configurations for the student side. The other thing, in case the student does not have a mic or a PC, is it does have a built-in phone bridge. So they can actually dial in. It is a long-distance number, New York to be exact. So if they don't have those type of capabilities or they're remote and away from the computer, they can actually call in and participate in the audio portion of the presentation and then go back and watch any archive that you might have created. This PIN is unique for the user who's logged in. We can provide you with a generic PIN for the classroom itself. So if a student knows they're going to be gone and they can't log in to get their PIN in advance, we can just give you that PIN. And what will happen is when they call in, this little symbol that looks like a cell phone antenna, this will turn into a handset for a telephone. So you know who's called in, who's connected via the computer. This is actually really handy. This will tell you the connection to the server. You get to see all the students' connections. So if you have a student who keeps coming in and out, and it's one bar in red, you know they have a really poor connection. Something's happening. So they probably either need to wait for the archive or call in with their phone. But most of the time, it's usually green. The other cool thing is I can't use my camera because I'm capturing with the other one. You can actually use your webcam, if you have one, and display your video to the students. This is kind of nice. If anybody is familiar with Polycom, it's basically a web-based Polycom at this point. So if the students have their webcam enabled and turned on, when they speak and click the talk button, everybody in the room sees them. So whoever the active speaker is going to be the one displayed on video. So that really kind of gives it that personal interaction that you sometimes lack online. By default, that's not on for students. Since it's kind of a new feature, we didn't want them to be showing up on their PJs. We talked about some things, you know. So we didn't want them to be surprised all of a sudden they hit talk and everybody in the room saw them at home. So
if you have your camera locked on, or your talk locked on, is that locked your camera?
Actually, one of the neat things about it, if I had my camera enabled, I become the default presenter. It will smart enough to realize that somebody else could be talking at the same time. What will happen is when a student speaks, it'll show theirs, and once they're done, it'll revert right back to your camera. So you don't have to worry about switching it. So yours is always the default camera as an instructor, so you don't have to worry about that. The only time you do have to worry about it is if you have multiple instructors in the same course. You can actually have as many presenters in one course as you want. We've actually had up to 15 kind of co-teach around in webinars, take turns. If you get pretty good at it, you can do it, but it's kind of hard to keep track of everybody, but you do have the capability. The nice thing for that, especially for departmental meetings, everybody can join into a class, but everybody has the same rights to do any type of collaboration or sharing.
And if you're going to cover this later, that's fine. I'll wait. To add people
to the room, they need to be on the roster of a K-State Online course. So how it breaks down is anybody with instructor type privileges from GTA up will be in as a presenter. Obviously, students will be a participant. So if you want somebody to have access to be able to lock their mic or push PowerPoint slides, they need to have some type of instructor access.